What if I told you that there's a whole universe out there with multiple tasks until you finally meet Lord Shrek?
What are you doing in my swamp?
There is a game out there called SHREK The Force Awakens on Roblox. Now, this personally is my favorite Roblox game, and it has been ever since I played it in like 2014 or something like that. It was made in 2011, and the last update was in 2022. So yeah, let's get into it. Or not. Or let's not get into this. I've tried loading this 30-minute video into the fucking editor like 5 times now, and it keeps crashing. And I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. So, we start out by talking to this noob, and we start asking about Shrek. And he tells us to fall into a hole, where we see a bunch of big Shrek faces, and then we go down into the underground and meet with Snoop Dogg. And he tells us about how, he's being Snoop Dogg. And we start doing an obby. Now, and then, as you could tell by each new spawn point you make, in the top right corner it says Shrek was a good movie. So now we're at this meme cave with Snoop Dogg, and it sucked. And we told him that. And he tells us the next one's gonna be better. So we keep doing more of the obby. We start talking to the noob, and he says we're in the spiritual realm, and we have to just keep following the path. So we just keep doing the obby until we get to the next meme cave by Snoop Dogg. And he says that this meme cave is really good, and it's dope, and that he swears on it. But it turns out sucking. And he said, we tell him that too, that this one sucked too. And he says there's another meme cave, the last one, so we have to do more obbies. And once we get to the last meme cave, he says it's the final one, and this one is it. So we go in it, and it is actually a better one. And we tell him that this meme cave is a lot better. And then we go into the next area. Now in this area, we meet John Cena, and he tells us, welcome to the spiritual world. And we have to prove ourselves by killing some ninjas, and then him to go see Shrek. So we have to do 20 seconds of just killing ninjas. Yeah, that's it. Just killing ninjas. And then we finally talk to Cena, and he tells us that we're ready with the sword, and that we're gonna have to kill him in order to continue on forward and see Shrek. So that's what we do. We go forward. Now, we are in a cave. We have to fight ninjas and basically just fight our way out of there. And that's really it, to be honest. Now, I've played this game before, but I could not remember where to go. But I eventually found my way after finally remembering where to go. And now we are in the fighting zone, fighting ninjas, and then waiting for John Cena to spawn in, which he does. And then we finally kick John Cena's ass, and we go to the surface of the spiritual world, where we talk to Cena, and he says, well, we've proved ourselves worthy, and we're in the spiritual world of Mexico. And then we talk to a Mexican, and he says that Trump is the one who built that wall. And we have to get in there and pass the wall to finally meet Shrek. Then we finally get down there, and then we talk to the small Trumps, and he says that that there's security in the wall building, and if we want to hack into it to meet SHREK, we have to talk to this Trump in the back, and then we go inside of the little pod. And by the way, this big Trump we have to fight is called Cyber Trump. And so we go into the portal, which then it leads us to this studio with what looks like an hobby down there, and we talk to a little Trump that's talking to us through the computer system. And now we have to do a game show with PewDiePie, Markiplier, some guy, and then us. And basically this is called the Meme Feud Game Show, which is, I think, actually narrated by the guy who made the game. I think, I'm not quite sure. So then eventually when they're done talking, we get dropped down into a maze. Now, I've played this millions of times before, but it's been a while since I played it, so I didn't remember where to go. But then I eventually found my way through. And now we're in another hobby, which this place used to use the Meme Machine song by Pink Guy, but it does not anymore. So we eventually get into the Dank Meme Elf ball with more Dank Meme Elves, and then we drop down into a big one, which eventually leads us to Snoop Dogg. And he says he's back, and now he knows we're here to fight Cyber Trump. And now we have to use some dank meme powers to fight him and to go talk to the Crimson King, which is just down there. And he says that him and Stu have talked, and that we are so pure that we can just destroy Cyber Trump and make him appear again. And yeah. So we finally get to our Cyber Trump fight, and he starts just talking a lot. So we have to use this orb, which eventually blows it all up, really. And you start spouting a bunch of stuff, a bunch of old meme kind of stuff appears on the screen. And then we finally make it to this place, where we meet the one and only Cyber Trump. And he says he's sorry for trying to kill us, and that he can help, and SHREK's kingdom is just beyond the wall, and that he's gonna take it down. So then we meet the one and only Snoop Dogg, and he tells us to do this hobby. So we do the hobby to get back to the spiritual world of Mexico. We get there, we climb up, and there's Cyber Trump again. And it looks like there's a wall, but that's just part of the game. And he tells us that we made him remove the wall, and that we could just clip through it, because that's easier. So we walk through the wall. And then we talk to the little Oompa Loompa Trumps again. And they say that we have changed Trump's mind. And then we have to take this long walk to a car, but thankfully for editing magic, we're just there. And the noob is here, and he says we've done well, and that we have to go to the Louisiana swamp. I mean, there's spiritual Louisiana, that's what I mean. And we have to go in the car to get there. And we make it to SHREK Swamp. But here's the thing, thanks to video editing magic, we could just skip going through the swamp, and we're finally at the Temple of SHREK, We're getting so close. We're in the galaxies. A SHREK is there. And we're traveling through galaxies and all this cool shit. And then the light. Then we get there, and SHREK is there, and he says, "Welcome to the swamp, and we seek the truth." And he says, the worst thing, that we have to wait for the next update. And remember, guys, it's never ogre.